So my audition was in Dallas at the Powerhouse Dance Studio. It said that the audition was going to start at 10:30. So obviously with me, I try to be early to literally everything. So I went and I planned on being there at 9 o'clock. Even though they say you shouldn't be there before 9:30, I was like, no, I'm going 9 o'clock. And then I had to get my brother to drive me, which is never a very solid plan. I tell him it all the time, it's fine. So, of course, we were 30 minutes behind my schedule. So, I actually ended up being there at 9:30, and I was like, everyone's gonna be there. Not a lot of people were out there, I was fine. I just sort of walked up to the studio, and I saw the first table of girls there, and I was like, hi, can I sit down? They were like, yeah, sure, because most people who try to work for Disney are very nice. I say most. So they were very nice, accommodating. I sat, we talked, it was really fun. The casting director and choreographers didn't get there until maybe like 10 o'clock. So we're sitting out there for 30 minutes. They let us in, I think maybe around 10:15. No, they got set up and they let us in because the studio wouldn't let us in until the casting director got there, which is totally understandable. So we got in, we sat in a studio for a long time, but finally we got started around 10:30. They handed out our numbers pretty randomly, so it really did not even matter that I got there early because everyone was sitting there, they just went down the room and handed out numbers. So don't worry if you get there at 10:30, you're fine. It's cool. At least at my audition it was. After that, I looked around to try to see what the highest number was, and I failed. But after the first cut, they told us, and it was 147 people who at our audition. I think at I think it was maybe Ann Arbor, there was like 2,000, which is crazy. It probably wasn't 2,000. I probably got my numbers mixed up. But if it was, Jesus. Or maybe it was 2,000 in whole. I don't know. Crazy though. And so, hearing 147, I was like, oh Jesus, I am not going to get this. I was number 47, yay. And I was pretty early in the first 50, which I really wanted to be. So I was alright, I would have been happier if I was closer to the front, but in the end, they split us up into two groups because there were so many people there, and they split it up, I think, like 70 in one room, then 70 in another, something like that. So it was fine. A lot of people suggest that you should go up to the front of the room when you're learning the dance, so that is what I did. I was right up front, because one room was like a normal dance studio room, and the other room that I was in was like long and narrow, so it was really weird. So the choreographer was on one side of the room, and then actually the casting director, I guess because of the whole tour and everything, she knew the dance, so she was in front of me. So I sort of had the benefit of having the casting director like right over here, and I was there. And then with the mirror right there, she was doing the dance, and I was in her line of view. So while learning the dance, I definitely made sure that I was like upbeat and happy and paying attention with a huge smile on my face, and I never half did a move. If a move was like this, I was like doing it, And I think that showed, definitely because the cast director was right there. And so I never got comfortable, and I never sort of acted like no one was watching me, because since she was right there and she was looking in the mirror, I'm right here, she sees me, and I don't know if she was watching me or not, but you should be careful just in case she is. So that's something I suggest. Just always be on it. Don't I know a lot of times I had to work on this for years. When I learn a dance, I'm super in my head trying to remember it. Don't do that. Just be in the moment, be into it, and I think it actually helped me learn the dance a bit more. Because then when I was performing it for like the across the floor, it was simple because I already felt the dance in my body and not in my head. So that's one thing. Just try to feel the dance and it'll be easier. So, more about the dance. They called it a walk across because you literally walk across. So, with my group, we learned the dance pretty quick. I think our choreographer's name was Sonia. She was so nice. I loved her. She had a really great personality, and it was just so fun learning the dance from her. And our casting director, because she taught the dance with her, which was really, really cool. I was not expecting that. So we learned the dance pretty quick. She always asked us like if we had any questions, are we confused by anything? No one really was, because it was like a really easy dance. So after that, we had extra time, so she actually played the song that we were going to do our dance to and put us in our groups, because we were in groups of 3 because our room was very short and narrow, so it seemed like it was made for doing that walk across. So we got into our groups, like we knew who we were going to be auditioning with, which was cool. And then we got to practice all in a group how to like do the dance while walking before we got judged. After that, we got back into the line and did the walk across. So we did the dance across the floor 3 times, and then you have to get out of the way really fast so the group behind you can be seen for their audition. So that happened 3 at a time. She just sort of went through. When the song was over, they paused for a little bit, replayed it, and just went through again. They did that. Then the group 1 had to wait into the hallway. Group 2 came in. They did it super quick. I don't know if they got to practice doing it across the floor. Not sure. They probably did, because they had a lot of time, because they had to wait for us to do our audition and then theirs. So they probably did. Not sure. We did that. Group 2 was done, and then we all gathered in the room Group 2 practiced in, which was bigger and like a normal dance studio. And she made cuts, just like that. There was like barely any wait time. Like we went into that room to wait for them to be done. Once their music cut off, they came into the room and she came in right after and just started making cuts. So it was really quick. They pretty much cut 147 down to like 70 something. Just a lot of people around you are just gone, and it's like, oh, alright. So that being said, you know, what I did throughout the whole waiting for the audition to start and while I was learning the dance, make a lot of friends. Just talk to everybody. I know while we were waiting for group 2 to finish, a big group of us did like an improv game, which was so much fun. Just being super like energetic and just talk to everybody. Because after that first cut, a lot of people are not going to be there. And it's going to be really awkward if you only talk to a small group of girls and they're all gone. I know out of the big group, I think it was like 6 or 7 of us at the beginning at that first table talking to each other, only 2 of us made it through the first cut. Like, if I only talked to that group of girls, I would have only had 1 girl to talk to. And she was talking to a lot of people, so I would have been like, just without any friends. But instead, I talked to a lot of people, and I'm even friends on Facebook with a lot of the people who went to the audition in Dallas. And they all got accepted for other positions, so they're going to be down there. And it's like really cool that I already have people like that I'm friends with that like I can talk to, because I talked to them at the audition. So after the first cut, they sort of said thank you, goodbye, and everyone left. And we sort of had some time because they decided to take we had to fill out some paperwork, you know, because we're now in the hiring pool, which is really exciting. And then they took our pictures and our heights. After that, she talked to us a little bit about specifics on what's gonna happen next. Talking about like filling out the paperwork, no one ever talks about that. They ask special skills that you have. They want to see stilt walking, puppetry. One thing they don't put on there is tumbling. A boy did ask, he was like, should I put down that I can tumble? And she was like, oh yeah, definitely. So if you can tumble, put that down. I put it down. After that, we got split into 2 groups again. I got put back into the narrow room, but with the second choreographer this time. I forgot her name, but she was amazing. She was so like fast and like peppy and loud, and it was so awesome. Her energy made it easier and less scary to learn the dance, because the dance was fast and it was sort of hard. But because she was so likable, I felt like it was fun. It was like a fun dance class. It did not feel like an audition, which was amazing. So we learned that. We learned it pretty quick again. I don't know how many 8 counts it was, but I swear after it's done, like after we did the dance full through once, I was so out of breath. I was so tired, I was done. But we did that, and then it felt like it took a while for us to learn the second dance, and even like the casting director came in, and the choreographer was like, okay, we're gonna move on. So I think it might have taken us a little while to learn it. No one asked any questions, which I don't know why, because I think there were some people who were really confused. And just because it's a professional audition, because it is professional, don't be afraid to ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you're not gonna know, and then you're not gonna do good at the audition. Like, ask questions if you're not sure. It's good. You know, I had questions, but thankfully some people asked the question for me. Like, not for me. Like, they asked the question, I had the exact same question, so it's fine. So, I mean, if you're comfortable asking questions, definitely ask, because there's like at least 5 other people who have the exact same question as you. After learning the second dance, she told us about animation. I was really, really nervous about animation, and for good reason, because it's the #1 thing they look for. Character performers, they don't really dance, except if you're like in the parades or on like a stage show. Other than that, you're going around meeting guests, really. So animation is huge, it's the #1 thing. We had a lot of review with it once we learned what we were doing. She gave us so many tips, and even the casting director came in at that point and gave us a bunch of tips too, which was great. She pretty much told us, like, we need a beginning, middle, and end. You really, really want to make it funny, and it's not just you trying to be like cutesy or anything, you know? You're trying to make a 4-year-old laugh, or like a 5-year-old, you know? So, really, when you're doing something, don't just like do your makeup perfectly. Something has to go wrong, because that's what's funny, you know? Like if you're doing your mascara and you poke yourself in the eye with the wand, you know? That's what kids want to see. Or if you're curling your hair and you burn your hair. I did that one in my audition, and she really said if something goes wrong, give big facial expressions, because they look for that too. Even though your face might be covered, you still are supposed to do that in the costume. So huge facial expressions. So, you know, like this, you're like, you know, super ridiculous. So after that, all that reviewing, we reviewed the dance and the animation with it, how it would be in the audition. So we did the dance twice in a row, and then the animation twice in a row. We did that a couple times, and then finally she decided, all right, we're ready. So I think group 2 went to like a 3rd room to get out of the room, because we went into the normal dance studio to audition. With our experience, we auditioned 6 at a time. We got into our line in numerical order, like as best as we could, because there's a bunch of numbers missing. And yeah, we went through, and the wait seemed so long, but when you're in the room, it is so so like fast. In the room, I definitely, made sure I smiled and was like super energetic. Again, big motions when you're dancing too. They want to see how big and extravagant you can be. So make sure you're doing that. I definitely varied my facial expressions in the dance, like, and all that stuff. When I perform, I don't even know the faces I did. I know I changed my face a lot though. So I did that, and I definitely, when I passed the casting director, I made eye contact, always. That's really good to do because it makes them feel a connection to you. One thing the casting director did tell us is that she sees a bunch of really, really good people all the time. But if there's an amazing dancer and they can't do animation, she doesn't want to see them. And even if you're a dancer or animation, she doesn't make the final decision. She has to like you enough to go back to Orlando and fight for you with her colleagues that like you should be a character performer. So she said she wants to see a fire, a spark in your eyes that you really, really wanted it. So I don't know, I just tried to show that as best possible. So you guys should show that fire from the beginning, like be super into it and just go crazy. Seriously, during one of my animations, there was a point where I went and ran around in a circle. I don't know if that helped me, I don't know if it hurt me, but I might have stood out by that. She was like, oh my god, she's running in a circle. And that makes them notice you and think about you. So I just try to do that, it's really important. So after that, we got our What Happens Next paper, and then in my group, she did not ask anyone to stay. So that, I was wanted to stay. I wanted to get that third level, but it's fine. I still got it. So don't be super, super disappointed like you're not gonna get it if you don't get called back. So guys, I'm gonna be vlogging about my DCP adventure from now until the end of my program because I'm going spring 2016. My move-in date is February 1st, so I have a long time to wait, and I really cannot wait any longer, but it's alright. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, please, I need it. And if you want to see my DCP adventures and everything, please subscribe, because I'm going to be doing so many videos about it, I promise this time I will do it. Alright guys, bye.